I want to move house. And I don't mean that in the conventional sense. I want to literally move my house, making use of legs. I want to put legs on my house and have it move across the terrain while I'm inside the house. I don't know where this idea has come from, but I like it. Now, the big question that I'm wondering is, would a house have 2 legs or would it have 4 legs? It's a question that I never thought I'd be asking. And, you know, I think for me personally, I picture my house having 4 legs. Yeah, a house walking actually seems a little bit creepy to me. Now, I'm going to be totally honest, it has been so long since I've built any form of walking slime block machine that my brain is kind of struggling to remember how to build a leg. Because legs are one of those things, they're a little bit awkward to construct because you need to get vertical and you need to get horizontal as well, and it actually needs to look like a leg. Your brain is very good at recognizing legs, and if a leg doesn't look like a leg, then your brain is sure to tell you that's not a leg. So, I've just spent a bunch of time studying my old walking flying machines, and I think I've got a rough idea of how they work again. The thigh is kinda simple being used very loosely here. So just watch what happens here. I'll try my best to explain it afterwards. So when we remove this redstone block, or move it out the way, you'll see that this sticky piston retracts, pulling up this part of the leg, and then that causes this observer to fire, which causes the sticky piston to extend and retract, pulling this part of the leg towards the other half, and because this part of the flying machine has been moved upwards, that piston will then slide on top of this redstone block, causing it to power instantly, pushing the other half of the redstone contraption forward. So you can see all of that kind of happens quite quickly. But once you begin to understand it, it's all you really need, because legs are just repeating that same circuitry. So if we just do a bit of this, and then take this out, you can see that our entire leg now moves in a really nice motion, and it looks like a robot actually walking. Obviously, this is just one leg. Now we have to build all 4 of them to create our full walking robot. Now the next questions that come up is, how far apart do you want the legs to be, and how do you want this thing to walk? Because, I mean, when you've got 4 legs, you could either have it gallop, so the front legs and then the back legs go, or you could have it go side to side, so the left and then the right legs go, or you could have it alternating, so the front right and the front left leg move forward, and then the front left and the back right leg move forward. There's all sorts of different variables that affect the style of the redstone contraption, and they're sort of things I haven't worked out just yet. But now I have, because I thought about how I'd like my house to move if it did have legs, and I've concluded I wouldn't want it to gallop, because that would be awful. You'd just be doing this all of the time. I also wouldn't want it to go left side then right side, because then you get a crazy swaying motion in your house, which also wouldn't be great. I've concluded that diagonals is the way forward. So both of these 2 legs will move at the same time, and then both of these 2 legs will move at the same time, which in theory should be the most stable. I'm putting way too much thought into this totally fictitious contraption. Anyway, with the legs all built up, it's now time to build a motor, because for anyone who's built flying machines before, you will know that these actually, they don't do anything. They're purely there for decoration. We actually need something that's going to shift this flying machine along, and we need it to connect into these slime blocks right here, because these slime blocks are the ones that connect into the legs. Okay, how should we do that? I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the way that this is looking. This needs to be a little bit flatter so our house can go on like a nice platform up at the top, but it does give us the opportunity to actually test out how this thing moves. Not a good start. Oh, so it is actually moving left to right. Wait, what's happened to that one? Oh, these back legs are totally broken. What has happened here? Ah, had sticky pistons instead of regular pistons. Okay, that's sorted. And now we should have a fully working system. Why is it walking left to right? That doesn't make any sense. I've wired it specifically so that it doesn't walk like this, and it's walking like this. Oh gosh, maybe it's got a mind of its own. No, turns out it was just me being silly. So again, we should now have a working system, and there we go. This thing is now walking very stably and looking good. Alright, okay. Let's rebuild this top section, make it flatter, and then start constructing the house. I'm excited for this. Quite some time later, this is where we're at. So the motors, have been shrunken down a little bit. I've also added in these little sections right here on the edges, which are purely decorative, but I think they just kind of add a little bit of meat to the top. And now it looks like we actually have the kind of robot section all in place. So I've started adding in these top sections right here. This is where our house is actually going to begin being constructed. And yeah, I mean, I've been experimenting with some ideas on how we're going to move the house along. It's going to be difficult, especially to fit inside this area here, because I all want it to look like it's kind of perched on top of this thing. This is difficult. This is really, really difficult. All I need to do is power these pistons in some way, but nothing I can think of is working. I managed to solve that, but now I have to move this thing. And I have not left I just haven't left any space. I've left none. I've got no space to actually connect this thing into the circuitry. It looks cool though. I mean, when we get a house up here, it's gonna look great. But what do I do? What do I do? After around about 30 minutes of screaming that into my monitor, I think I've come up with something. Come on, come on. Okay, this is going to work. If I say it confidently enough, then that's what's going to happen. Are you ready? I misclicked. I misclicked again. Oh, apparently it's not working. Okay, the tension is building still. Oh! After another half an hour of screaming various other things into my monitor, I think I might just about be there. Come on! It's this piston. That's the one that we update. And we are on the move. No, we've left some pistons behind. How have we done that? Oh, because they're totally not connected to anything. Have I got myself confused here? The answer is yes, I had, but thankfully I managed to fix it relatively easily. So now this is ready to actually take our house. You can see I've started constructing the foundations of it. It's not going to be anything particularly glamorous, but it should end up looking quite cool. So if I just build up our little roof here, all of this needs to be solid. So we need to make sure that this house doesn't kind of collapse in on itself, because that would be bad news. Now those pistons there are going to push these roof segments. So then we can have a full roof like this. So this is kind of like your traditional average house. The average house that a Minecraft player will make. There we go, so that's looking cool. Right, and if we put some windows in some of the walls here, and then I guess we can build up some kind of little front porch area. Look at that. Oh my word, this is the best thing ever. This is seriously cool. Now, if we pop inside, you can see that I've done a little bit of work on the interior. So we've got a crafting bench. We have a chest that we can use. Do we need some kind of light? I mean, an end rod. We could use an end rod for light. I don't really know where it would go. I mean, I guess you could have that stuff in the ceiling. I'm not sure. Maybe even just some glowstone for the light. That's probably smarter. We can't use torches or anything like that, because obviously they'll get broken as the thing moves. But there is... I mean, that's quite a cool little house. The only thing that I will say is that the roof is slightly off. So we could do this. The only problem is that we can't have that top section. We could almost say that it's part of the design. Or not, because that looks terrible. So I've moved our entire house one block further forward to make space so it looks perfect. And I think we can all agree that this does look pretty perfect. I mean, you have to admit that this is quite a cozy looking home. As far as they go, it's quite nice. We've got a little porch out the front. We've got a little bush. Obviously, we've got our storage, as I mentioned earlier. We've got the crafting benches and things. Everything is looking rather lovely. And if we give this thing a tester, we should see that it can actually traverse the landscapes. Here goes. There we go. Our house is on the move. Oh my word, this is the best thing ever. If I saw this, if I saw someone actually just chilling out in their house on a Minecraft server, they're just cruising along like this. I mean, you couldn't help but laugh, could you? Just someone's in their mobile house. Oh, my leaves have gone. Oh, my bush has been broken. I hadn't really thought that part through. Okay, well, that's a bit of a shame. But either way, I love this thing. I absolutely love this thing. I think it's fantastic. I'm so happy that it works, because there were points during this recording session that I thought it wasn't going to function. But I think we can all agree that this thing's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love this thing. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed this little redstone video. If you have, please hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.